Hello, and welcome to Family DynamiKs. I'm Katherine.
I'm Liz.
I'm Ed.
And John.
Okay, so this is our first video podcast.
Yes.
So this is episode, I don't even know, 61, 2, something, whatever.
I think it's 60, actually.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that would be
all
a
right.
nice number to start on. Okay.
Yeah, all right. So, but this is our first using video because people have said, like, what?
Well,
Go.
we were doing a traditional podcast where you were just hearing our voices, but I think there was a high demand to see our faces.
High demand. High demand.
Was there? I don't think there was.
That's the most often commented comment on all of our posts.
Where are
just
you?
Just kidding. There's no
I'm like,
comments
where are you
that
seeing
at all.
these comments? Oh my gosh, what am I missing? Yeah, no. Okay.
People
Most commented
personally have
twice.
commented
It's been
to me.
commented twice.
Okay,
Just
well, that was enough for us to take your note and go, we've got to show ourselves. Pull back the curtain and expose the magic, right?
Right. I mean, now we have to
Watch
worry
our posture.
Right. Sit up straight. Worry about what faces we're making. We're a big face-making family, so we'll see how that. But I mean, aren't we? I feel like
we have very
are.
dynamic faces.
Oh.
Okay, well.
All right.
Watch the rest of the episode. I just sit there like this.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to try not to just frown.
See, that's the kind of jokes we used to make on the podcast, like facial expression jokes.
And no one can see them.
You're welcome. Audience.
Right. And resting bitch face, I have to be careful that I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or one of you will be saying something and I just look
having an actual
repelled,
reaction.
Gross. Yeah. Oh, God.
Don't worry, we can cut directly to you.
Oh, great.
Not
Close
cut
up.
around it.
Close
not cut around
up.
it directly on your face.
I think that's a good way to handle it.
Yes,
definitely.
exactly. And this is now
reactions only podcast.
Now I have
Whoever's
no
not
headphones
talking.
either, Ed.
Yeah, you don't need them.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. They
It
were
is a
a security
weird.
blanket.
Yeah.
They are a little bit of a security blanket. I'm still
Also-
doing some producing on this side,
Wait,
so
also, I have to admit this. I think, it's a childhood thing that I did like a mirror, right? And I really loved a reflection. Our big, big family room.
Oh, the sliding
our
glass
family
door.
dining room had a huge table because there was 8 kids, and to have the parents, and God forbid if we had a guest. So minimum there was usually 9 people sitting at the kitchen table, and behind it was a big sliding glass door, and I really did like a seat position to see myself.
100%.
Now-
you know what's interesting about that? Because like the mirror factor. I now realize at Mom's house we've got a little bit of nice accent lighting. The backyard's been kind of redone a bit. When we were growing up, that was a cement wasteland that you did not want lit up for your guests at dinner. So then it was just pitch black. It made a mirror.
Perfect.
We made a mirror out of
Yeah,
it.
100%.
Glass with black behind it. Perfect.
And we did have assigned seating when we were growing up. So I made sure my assigned seat was well positioned to basically be talking to myself
Didn't
throughout
you get
dinner.
moved to the side?
Dad,
because-
it drove Dad crazy. He tried everything. He moved me, and then I found like a reflection off of something.
I swear to God, Liz, if we had a mirror on the side of the door
I
right
wish
now,
we
you would be
did.
catching side glances of yourself all day.
I'd be trying to see what I wish. And then Dad eventually got so peeved one dinner, he got up and did the very dramatic, like, because it's old school, like curtain closing. He was like trying to close it, like, enough with you and your mugging. So
The green curtain, right?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
the old
God.
school knit green curtain. Oh,
by
yeah.
the time we got rid of those things, I think they walked out of the house. They were so
They were just,
If that didn't come with the house, I would have been very surprised that was chosen to.
Oh,
You
no,
know
be out of the
what?
house.
Maybe
No, I
it
don't-
did.
No, I don't think
You
it
think
did.
that was a decor choice by Mom and Dad?
I think it was one of those.
Hey, wait a minute.
Did
The
Mom and Dad pick
table-
out that wallpaper?
Wait, the
Yeah, she did.
table
Oh
was
my gosh.
avocado green,
Yeah.
and the curtains were avocado green.
But it could have been, what I was going to say is it could have been that there were few options that were that long.
Yeah.
Like, right. So she would have been like, of the things I can do this.
Does it not? Did
We'll have
it
to
not
ask her.
register as like homemade, like Afghan quality?
No.
knit?
They were not
for
homemade,
sure,
but
sure.
yes,
But it
yeah.
looked like it could have been.
They were 70s.
The giantest project.
70s.
They were a
ever.
little 70 vibes, so that's what it was. And we had them well into the almost 90s.
There was
so
you know what?
it was bad.
We didn't really have a whole 70s era energy in our house by the time I came around and was paying attention to the 80s, but not a lot changed. So there's a lot of 70s oldness still around.
I could not
But
believe
like
how long
Mom
we
and
kept that.
Dad's yellow and green, white and green shag carpet in their bedroom. Oh my God.
Oh, I do not remember
I don't
that.
remember that.
Very is like 1.5 inch long yarn. That is the shaggiest
Yikes.
shag.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how long we kept that wallpaper in the kitchen.
It's impressive.
I would bring it back.
Oh,
you wouldn't want to change
sure.
anything. It's too no. It would be awesome for filming for locations. We could be like trapped in a time warp.
Well, in film school, when I did my final project,
there is evidence of it.
we
Yes.
shot something in the kitchen, and so that wallpaper really it lives in memory. I mean, I don't know where that project is now. I have it on probably VHS or 3/4 inch tape in my
Sibling.
I
garage.
have a
It was called-
DVD.
Yeah, it was called Sibling Sabotage.
Sibling sabotage.
It was your opus. It was absolutely fantastic.
We may have to get some disclaimers signed,
yeah, well,
but we'll
people-
probably put that on our YouTube channel.
People
At some
sign
point,
off
yeah.
on usage of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god! So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We got sidetracked by the Killmond curtains.
Did you have a point about the mirror?
Oh yes, no, I don't know why.
The green table, the mirror, distracted. You really wish you could see yourself. And
Yes.
for a little while, we were casting on a 80-inch screen. So you're like very side
distracting,
angle.
but I loved
How do I
it.
look? How do I look?
Yeah,
I look
no,
weird.
we
I
can't
look
have
sideways.
us up there. That's
So
ridiculous.
as we're filming this, thank you, John, for keeping us on track. This is now you're seeing our faces, but we are not allowing me in any camera or monitor for me to
Correct.
see myself because
That's
I'd be
smart.
too distracted. What is the fable, the famous fable where the king became so obsessed with his reflection in the pond he fell in and drowned?
I think that's a Zeus, or
Zeus?
not Zeus. I think it's like
Zeus?
a Norse god or something.
No, I think
what?
it's Greek.
Greek?
Greek mythology. If we can butt in, Liz. Yes, I think
The story of Narcissus.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be the exact reason why he
That-
dies, because he's so
yeah.
infatuated with himself, his face.
And I literally,
like
Catherine,
it.
I thought Catherine was trying to say Seuss, like in Dr. Seuss, but she was saying Zeus.
I didn't
I hope
have,
I said Zeus.
You did. It was
Okay.
me, not
I
thinking you
definitely
were right.
didn't have the answer until all the facts came out. But I was going to go with, no, that's a story our parents made up just for you to learn a lesson, Liz.
And I don't think I did. But now you get to see us, and that's really the whole point
that
of that
was a whole
digression.
long to
Oh,
get
okay.
there.
Yes,
Okay.
so-
Wow, we did it. All right. So, but this episode of Family Dynamics, I was thinking we could talk about sort of the wrap up of summer
Oh, yep.
and everybody going back to school. And by everybody, I mean my two kids and your child, son.
Yes, exactly.
You know what?
Teenager.
You two don't have to worry about it. But
Not
we've
so
got
much.
school
It's
stuff.
mostly just a lot of traffic. That
Oh,
I have
yeah.
to do.
Oh,
There's
it
a big
does impact
uptick.
it.
We're up the street from a neighborhood school, and absolutely no one will go out to the main streets from the school. They're a block off from
Oh.
a main street, and zero parents pick up and go to the main street. They drive 7 or 8 blocks out of their way through the neighborhood. It's
Okay.
fun. So it's about an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, 5 days a week.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
So don't go to lunch at 2:30. Oh shit, that's when my lunch is. Dang it!
Dang
All
it.
right, I'll be waiting to get out of the driveway for like 5 minutes sometimes.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize that school was actually impacting you. So there you go. What? Oh, okay. What?
you're off mic because you can't hear yourself.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I can't
That's
hear
how.
myself.
But the audience doesn't care. They could see her mouth moving. They got the captions going on this YouTube video. They're not even listening to
But
us. It's
that's
fine.
why you guys have headphones on, because you're monitoring and going to keep us on
We're
track.
actually doing producing. Correct.
Okay. Great job.
We could still hear you, but let's continue with whatever we were talking about.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
Back to the
John.
topic. Ooh, Jace. John is really like,
Taskmaster.
Okay. All right. So I would say let's first discuss wrap up of summer. You had a couple trips, right?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wait. Before we even get into that,
Wow. Okay.
I just want to say that even though we're doing video now, and this will be on the Knack YouTube channel as a video podcast, it will still be available as a podcast
Oh yeah.
in all of the podcast places,
So if you don't want to see our faces,
which might be the right move at this point. Okay.
As you've already turned it off because you were already listening to it on a podcast place, we're explaining it too deep, but all right. Good
Okay.
job.
All
We're
right.
over.
all
We're over here
right.
in this other tab. You can't see us.
Oh, my God. All right. Okay. So, Liz.
yes.
Tell us about your last summer getaways.
Yeah, this was an odd summer because my son Ethan, now being a teenager, had a few trips, solo. I mean, he went on
All right.
one big backpacking trip and then another sort of camp, camping trip with scouts.
We heard a little bit about that he was going on a scout thing. And
Yeah.
then also like what was that the long thing that John was like, that is not a vacation. That hike is
They're both about the same length. Philmont was the backpacking trip.
Philmont,
And then
right. Philmont Ranch.
Correct. And then separately, there was summer camp, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so when he came back, it was like, can we squeeze in some family getaway time together?
right.
And one was really fun and mellow and close. It was in Newport Beach, which for us in Los Angeles is really like an hour or so on the freeway. So, but you're transported to another sort of world in Orange County. And our sister, Rosie, has a sister-in-law, Debbie, who has a house like right on the boardwalk. I mean, it is... Being right on the boardwalk is kind of crazy. There is constant people going by on bikes, rollerblades, walking, skateboards, electric bikes, and those types are not allowed on the boardwalk. Everybody does it. I mean, you can just sit out there and just watch the parade go by. It's insane.
It's just like a patio kind of and a little half wall.
Yeah.
And then it's the Strand or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it is. So it's super fun because there's like a lot of action and energy. So that's great. And I mean, we would borrow bikes and go up and down the boardwalk. And
Did you rollerblade? Did you roller skate?
I did not bring my roller skates, and I'm so upset. Our other sister, Virginia, our youngest sister, gave me roller skates for Christmas,
Oh my
and I
gosh.
did not bring them. My husband was thrilled to not bring them because he goes, "You inevitably would have hurt yourself."
Well,
What? No,
yeah.
he was
Your
worried about-
tailbone is fine right now, so we know you didn't bring him.
It was the sand and the bearings. That's what he was worried about.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that is a complete sabotage moment.
Whatever.
Okay, so I did not bring
You're
them.
supposed to clean your things if you go out in sandy, dirty areas. That's how skating works. That's what you do with rollerblades.
Obstacles.
Yeah, exactly.
And Rosie, basically her two sons were there who are young adults. I mean, they're 18 and 21.
Right.
And they had sort of their own agenda. And the three boys all together, just getting them up for breakfast in the morning was like, come on.
Wait, how old is Ethan?
Ethan's 15.
15.
And when I'm staying at someone else's house, you know, when you're a guest, you kind of feel like, okay, I don't want to be the last up. And if we're making breakfast, I should be out there helping. Or just whenever I stay at someone's house, I never feel like I'm a guest in the sense of like, I'm not going to do anything. Like, I never feel comfortable that way.
Yeah, you always want to help out and participate. And yeah.
Right. But I mean, this house is about 100-year-old beach house. It's incredible. But it's a lot of creaks, a lot of noises. We're in one of the back rooms. I woke up and it was like, what time is it? Where am I? Like, there's like one little window. So then you think you slept so late and like, oh gosh, we got to get up and join everybody. And you come out and no one's awake. It's 9:30.
It's the beach. The sun has been up since 5 a.m. Hi, good morning. What's going on? Are you awake yet?
No.
Yes, and the boardwalk action is starting there at 5:30 in the morning.
People are running. People are working out. People
all
are
different
playing
body
volleyball.
types. It's insane.
Yeah.
So, you know, there is a show starting at 5:30 in the morning and it does not stop. So that didn't wake me up. So I get up, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, not everybody's up. I go, all right, Mark, like we start making the breakfast. And I mean, every day it was like, well, are we finally going to the beach at 2:00? Because
Oh, geez.
between making the brunch for the boys, packing up the lunches, getting it, and she is a house, boardwalk, beach. Like,
Yeah.
if like the sun's going down, can we get out there? So it was lovely being with these grown-up boys and watching my sister. This was sort of her last time spending time with them before they both are gone
Yeah,
to
they're both
college,
gonna be
empty
college.
nest.
Yeah.
So, and that whole area down there is so beautiful. I mean, yikes. We went on a walk. Every block you turn down, you're like, what is this, Mayberry on the beach? Like, what is happening here? Gorgeous. So we had a great time. And there really was, like, thankfully, like, no drama. You know, it was always like trying to just feed the boys, get them going. That was the main motivation. And then, like, as soon as it like dipped into the 4:00, borderline 5:00 hour, I was like, please get a cocktail going for us adults. Because I just felt like all we did was make food for these boys, like all of it. So it was beautiful. We had great weather. So that was really, really nice. And then we decided to go about a week later. Maybe there wasn't even that much turnaround.
It was kind of close together, these two trips, I thought.
You might be right. John, what were you thinking? You're looking at me like you know.
You didn't even, I didn't say anything yet.
Well, I do want to point out, because weren't you on like double dog watching duty?
For the second one, I think I was supposed to be for Newport, but then it didn't work out that way. And it was, I feel like it was a full week in
Yeah.
between.
I feel like we had a little time in between, and then we planned to go to Mammoth, which is up in the local California mountains.
No, there was not. It was like a weekend. You guys were there during the
Right.
week. We had the August birthday party on the weekend. Then you went out of town.
Yeah, it
right
was
after.
super close.
Back to back. Now, both of these were driving. It wasn't like we were getting on a flight, and so it was like packing up the car. I do like a road trip. Typically, I pack the third row back seat as like a nest for me to sleep
you're a
in.
sleeper.
And this time I was like, we were leaving for Mammoth at like 11 o'clock. It's like, I don't think I need to get like back to sleep or back to bed at this point. So I sat in the front. We were caravanning. I've never been to Mammoth. It's really well known as a snow resort.
Yeah, you've never been in the summer?
I've never been in the summer. So this was sort of like, all right, what are we going to do with these boys? Because when you go skiing or up in the winter time, you just throw them up on the slopes and they can fend for themselves.
Right.
Which actually our last trip they sure as hell did not. But
make sure they know where to find food.
Yeah.
And that's about all you're responsible for.
Yeah.
And you should have really asked Ed and I, because we could have given you the greatest tips of all time. We've been there in the summer so many times. The tip would be go for a run.
Yeah.
That's all we've got.
That's all we've got.
Oh, geez.
We went for a run, and then we stayed in whatever condo they rented for us and watched cable because we had just gone on a run for like 10 miles in the mountains.
Correct, yeah, because we went there for a cross-country team, like, training time.
Yeah, yeah.
Why does
Preseason.
it happen? What is the logic of that?
Altitude training, in order to be able to maintain the same kind of exercise, you have to breathe in more to get the same amount of oxygen to oxygenate your blood. So then when you're at lower heights in the regular San Fernando Valley, you will still breathe deeply and you will actually get more oxygen and heal faster and be able to run better.
So it's like a trick.
Altitude training. It's a
yeah,
big
it's
trick.
like you're training your lungs to do a
They
better
got
job.
lots of hills
right?
and trails up there. It's great.
And they're, you're all together, and they can force you to run more, and twice a day.
was
Twice
all
a day.
good.
Try
All right.
twice a day.
2 days.
Well,
2 days,
no
morning
one was
and
running
night.
in this group, and I can tell you it was almost like we were wheezing. We're like old, so trying to get oxygen. There's no way. Like going up a flight of stairs was like, like there. So I mean, the high altitude it always affects Kirk, but like all of us were a little hit by it. And there was still semi-snow on the mountain, and they'd stopped skiing only the week before. It was crazy.
I did
Wow, crazy.
We did get the heads up that there is a high altitude baking. Is someone prepared for that? How did it go? How did the high altitude baking
because it was
go?
Rosemary's birthday while you were up there.
I don't want to
didn't-
jump the gun.
We did not bake. So
Smart.
We did our road trip up there. We stopped at the famous Schatz Bakery, which my son always has a negative opinion about because he's like, the line is an hour long and the sandwiches are $20 and they're not that good. Wrong, and wrong. All of them. So because we were pulling in a little after lunchtime, literally no line. Of course, I had to shoot him a look and he's like, okay. And now his palate has matured. And of course, like they have a selection of 40 sandwiches. I mean, you cannot go wrong. He orders his sandwich, and I don't really help him order anymore because it's like, if
no, you
you
gotta
order
get out of the
wrong,
way.
it's on you. Because if I help him order and he doesn't like it,
It's on you.
it's all mom's fault. So I was like,
no. Yeah.
you pick number 11, 5, whatever you want to do, you figure it out. And no, the sandwiches are not $20 each. So he was so like, my point is not being proven. And so we stopped there and we fuel up, but everybody decided next time we have to try someplace new. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. I mean, this is sort of tradition, but okay. So then we actually make it to Mammoth in good time. And our condos, we normally share a condo, but they were renting from a friend. So it was a particular size. It could not fit all of us. So I Airbnb'd one in the same development, and it ended up being like balcony to balcony practically.
Oh,
across
wow,
each other.
really?
That worked great.
And you hung a hammock between the balconies,
Wait,
right?
what?
You hung a hammock between the
bungee
balconies?
cord. Zip line
We
across.
need one more sleeping
No.
space. Just tie something across this balcony.
We almost could have. That's a good idea. We did not. And theirs was a bit newer, but ours had the larger central room. So really, of course, almost by design, I don't know if it was by default, ended up being like almost every meal gathering was in our space, which, at a certain point you go like, oh my gosh, I just need our place to be quiet for a minute. Or not every pan out, every dish, like we're trying to make every meal.
Right. So you didn't quite have an escape. Even
No.
though you were separate.
And it really was beautiful up there. Yeah, John?
I mean, the first point is you should have then I'm going over to your place, Rosie and
Nah.
Kirk. Also, this is because of Chef Mark.
Yes.
That is Chef Mark's fault, for sure.
Mark my husband will begrudgingly act like he doesn't like to cook for everybody, but that is his love language. If he makes you a killer sandwich and he will watch people take the first bite, and if they're like, oh, this is so good, he's like, he feels such a level of accomplishment. So, I mean, I kind of go, please, he's like, oh gosh, they're all coming over here for brunch. Okay, what should we make? What should we do? Have you cut that? Have you prepped that? Should we add this to that? I'm like,
Jesse, right there, you should have been like, oh, you know what? I'll be back later.
I mean,
I have pulled that.
I worked with Mark for a long time in the editorial entertainment business side of stuff, and he cuts a tight little package. It's no surprise that he has like a little story put together in his sandwiches, like this piece and that piece, and then you eat this, and it's crunchy, and it's great, and then it's over. Done.
Very true. So you get to Mammoth, and like I said, I had not been there in summer. Beautiful weather, cool because the snow is still on the mountains. So what do you do with 3 teenage boys? You are extremely active.
Extremely active. Yes.
So you're talking 4 adults, of an age that, maybe this is one. It wasn't exactly what we wanted to do, right? Like,
No, can we have some leisurely walks and hikes, maybe?
and everything was underestimated. It was like, all right, you're going to do the Rainbow Falls hike. And I guess because of the snow and, how they conduct Mammoth tourism, to get to within the park to go on the Rainbow Falls hike, you have to buy a bus ticket. And I will say, the bus, have you ever watched this like TikTok videos and it looks like the road is about as wide as the bus and the bus driver decides to do like a U-turn or a 3-point turn backwards and you are like, ah! It's like the whole bus going. So we get on this bus and we're going to go to the Rainbow Falls hike, and luckily I've been told by a couple of people like pack a lunch. So Mark was like, I'm on it. Like
Of course he was.
and even like the bread, he was like, we need regular sandwich bread is going to be smushed in our backpacks. We need like more like sub sandwiches, like hero rolls. Like he thinks they're everything. So he made a full like sandwich bar in the morning. So you came over and assembled your sandwiches and then he packed them up. And
my God.
it's a deal.
Did yours have a lot of pepperoncinis and mustard in it?
I jokingly called my girlfriend Lainey, made me really one of the worst sandwiches I've ever had in my life. It was like a mustard pepperoncini sandwich because she was trying to wrap it up and I was still on the jet ski in Tahoe and she made Liz's sandwich. And I'm like, that is so sweet and considerate of you. And Rosie was like clocking me, like just waiting for me to take the first bite. And I'm like shivering cold because I just got out of the lake and I'm like, oh my gosh, this sandwich is, I'm so excited for this sandwich. And I take a bite, I'm like, ha, 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 ha. And I look down, I mean, I don't even see turkey or cheese. It's just like a wall of yellow and, that very vibrant, like neon green of a pepperoni. And I'm like, and she goes, don't you like pepperoncinis and mustards? I'm like, yeah, but not just a sandwich of them. Oh, I still
It's
can
like a sinus clearing sandwich.
I mean, my eyes are almost watering thinking about it. So no, and Mark was so pissed that we did not buy pepperoncinis at the grocery store. So I was like, ha ha, we don't have them. So we pack our backpacks, we got the lunch, we got our tickets, we get on the bus. You're going, when I say windy, narrow road at one point, and it really gets to certain areas where another bus is coming that way and it's got to stop or back up. It's like a game of chicken. Like you can't both go. So I kind of was like, it's kind of a relief they're just not letting us drive into this park. I was okay with it. So they drop us off. And it's part of John. What's the trail, the famous trail?
I don't know, the PCT, Pacific Crest Trail?
Or John
Muir Trail?
John Muir Trail. So we were told like, it's 1.5 miles in and 1.5 miles out. It's very scenic. It's very easy. You're going to love it.
It's a 6,000 vertical height. You're like, what? No, wait, that's not 1.5 miles.
Well, that part we didn't tell you.
And just the universe there is going down.
Sure.
And so you're going down the whole way. And maybe someone's going to please correct me, but I felt like it was 3 miles going down and 3 miles coming back uphill. And you do get to the beautiful falls. And because the way the light hits it, that's why it's called Rainbow Falls. So there's a rainbow there constantly. And the snowpack made it like crazy. Just
a lot of water.
Yeah, beautiful. And luckily the kids, no one was complaining. No one was like, oh, this is too long. I mean, as adults, you were more like, where the F is
are
this
we there
waterfall? And you're like, do I hear it? No, it's just water going by. Are we close? Oh my gosh, and there'll be like a trail marker and it's like, wait, 1.2 miles? Wait, this whole thing was supposed to be 1.2 miles. So
have we gone nowhere yet?
I think I remember 2 different runs, but for sure I've combined them in my head from a mammoth running trip between the Devil's Post Pile and the Rainbow Falls. I definitely felt like we went on both of those runs, if that's not the same, path and run or whatever.
Yeah, I was talking with her about this when they had come back, and I was telling her about the running, and I was like, yeah, we didn't actually go anywhere good. I don't know, maybe those places are too busy. And I was like, yeah, we went to Devil's Post Pile, which is coolish.
What are you?
That is
Devil's
wait, okay,
Post
But not when
pile?
you're not when you're running past it. There's a whole different experience hiking
Yes.
at that speed where you can appreciate where you're looking at, and then there's a different thing where you're like, I don't want to eat and fall in the forest a mile and a half away from everything. I'm going to watch where I'm running. Oh, there's a geometric shaped rock right there. Still, there's
Yeah, you need to be focusing on the running and
when
not
you're
on
running
the surroundings.
until you get to wherever it is that you stop, and you're like, great, this is the falls. Can I drink this water? No, I'm very thirsty. I'd like to run back now.
Oh, so that would be hard. You're running past the Devil's Post,
Yeah.
but we were hiking up to it.
Got it.
And I got to tell you right now, that is remnants of an alien
Oh, you
experiment.
mean like the way that it looks?
Okay, so the rocks are like pillars that are like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
geometrically shaped, and they're made out of what, John? Do you know?
Basalt.
Basalt.
Okay.
Yeah, which is like, volcanic rock.
Okay, well, regardless, they used the materials they here had on Earth, but like they completely, when they decided to get the hell out of here, they like took off into space, and it just looks like the weirdest like pillars of like, you're looking at going like, this is not of nature almost.
Yeah.
It looks odd, right? So that is, I think the hike in at that point, and like, basically the hike out was like, oh my gosh, it was like all slightly uphill. And the Rainbow Falls is beautiful, worth it, all this and that. So on the way back out of, the Rainbow Fall, beautiful hike.
And like the devil's, what is it called?
Devil's Post Pile.
Post pile.
Even the name, come on. Even the name conjures up like, this is dangerous. But, on the way out, it was definitely like we all ditched each other. Everybody was at their own pace. And because Ethan had like thrown out his knee,
He threw out his knee. When?
Yeah.
What?
On one of the scout trips, he basically dislocated it, like popped it in and out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, it was a little slower going out. And you end up at like this cute little sort of like, there's a camp store and there's a sort of a little like, I don't know, like ringing the bell. They've got the cook in there and like you're smelling burgers, but it's only for the people working there, which like, this is torture. But I love a camp store. So I was like, I'm going to go in. Like, what ice cream do they have? It's always off brand and totally crazy. But I'm like, I want one of those popsicles.
I mean, what if they had a Choco Taco stash?
I would have been in heaven because that being discontinued is still one of the greatest injustices ever done in the food industry. So they did not have a Choco Taco. But everybody got something and we're all really tired, looking very dusty at each other, like we just done Mount Everest. Like, I don't even know if it was a total of 5 miles in and out. I really don't know.
But there is an altitude that is like a large part of like, I go for a run, I'm like, how far did I run? Not that far. How high did I run? Ooh, 500 feet. Okay, so neither of those things actually made a good workout. Awesome on me. But yours for sure had some altitude.
Yeah.
in it.
Yes, it was challenging. So, of course, we don't plan to go out to dinner that night. We cooked dinner at our condo, which was always sort of pretty involved. It was like, oh, we're going to like barbecue tri-tips. Like, well, we both
my.
have barbecue at our condos. Oh, but you're bringing them over here. Okay.
No, you were hosting kind of.
Yeah, it was all
Yeah.
good. And that night we were all tired enough. The next morning was Rosie's birthday, and we basically did up our condo as a surprise birthday party brunch for her. And I had
cool.
balloons, but there was no tape or no tack, so everything was sort of, the banners were sort of loose, hung off of like, hung off picture frames and this and that, and the balloons were just loose. It was like, it was still festive. And, then we have to clean up breakfast and like get going because the boat, you have to leave by, you've rented the boat for like 4 hours. And boat, I mean in like loose terms. I mean, I don't know what you call those. Like they're like kind of pontoons. They're completely one level and they sit above the water.
Are
It's
they
like-
just
like
like
a party boat.
Yeah, like a flat houseboat.
I don't know.
Or thing?
Yeah, I mean, houseboat, too small for houseboat, party boat, not having a party on this boat. So, and you get to this, you go to June Lake, and I think it's June Lake, and it's really like a pond. You're like, this is not that big, but okay, it's the only place in Mammoth you can go in the water because otherwise everything's like a drinking supply.
Oh, right.
So
Okay.
they don't want
Like
humans jumping in
reservoir-ish.
there. Yeah, which makes sense. So we get there and, the little shop, love a shop like that too. We check in and, I guess there's big trout fishing on this little lake. And because there's so much snow this year, I mean, it was very high.
Oh, it's very
So-
full, this lake.
we go out to get our boat, and of course, Rosie, just like a table at a restaurant, is like, I don't want that one. I want that one. And the guy's like, that one's reserved. You're going to have this one. And it like definitely has had a life, all these boats. There wasn't like a big, difference between boat to boat. It was like they all kind of old. So we get on the boat and the guy's instructing Kirk, and it's only me, Kirk and Ethan basically driving this thing because otherwise most of us are paid. I needed an alcoholic beverage at this point. So it's like, we're going to be on the lake relaxing and like cocktailing it. And then maybe the thing's going to go 20 miles an hour. And he goes, okay, this is a steering wheel, which you're like, okay. And I'm not really paying that much attention, but this was funny. He goes, and this is how you go forward, and this is how you reverse. And he goes, do you see all these gears down here, all this panel? And Kirk's like, yes. He's thinking like he's going to find out about fuel pressure. Who knows?
Good information.
He goes, none of that works. Forward, backwards, that's it. Like, this is the level of the boat. So you're like, all right, okay, fine. So because we did that brunch in the morning, I had blown up balloons, and the altitude too. I mean, I'm like, I had no, like we should have brought like a helium tank. This is horrible. So, it was a 12-pack and like my ears are blowing out. I'm like, oh, only for you, Rosie. Happy birthday. So we get in the car going to the little lake. One of the balloons was in the car. I'm like, how'd this get here? And my husband's like, oh, it's a party. We'll make another party. I'm like, okay.
Oh, so he brought it?
Then we get on the boat and the balloon's on the boat. I'm like, why is the balloon on the boat?
He was committed to this.
He was committed. Yeah. So once we had
It
20
was his flotation device.
Oh, geez.
Seriously. So once we hit 20 miles an hour, of course, the balloon goes flying off, which I'm like, we got to get it or we're going to kill the turtle population.
Oh.
So my son's the only one that volunteered to go in the Scout. And it was cold. And, the wind kept blowing the balloon away. And then finally he got in this section where it blew into water reeds. Like they're sticking by the water. And he's like, the water reeds are smacking me. And like, we're just kind of laughing at him. And the balloon pops and he has all the pieces. So by the time he gets back on, he's shivering. And my husband, has packed lunch for everybody. He goes, but this was a disassembled lunch. Unlike the hike lunch, which was like, make your sandwich, bring it in with you. This was like, he made tuna salad. And it was like, what do you want on the tuna salad? Oh my God. You're like, why do you make it so complicated? And then he was very upset he forgot cheese. I do not think cheese should be on a tuna salad sandwich, but he was very upset he forgot it.
No, but isn't he a big fan of the peppercini too? Like, what's his peppercini?
Oh, yeah. He was very upset we didn't have pepperoncinis previously for the day before because pepperoncinis I'd say pepperoncinis do go with John.
They go with nothing.
They add a little bit.
They go with pickles in the trash.
Oh, both. No, they both add a little something. I'm not even going to say I have a great sandwich shop idea. I'm not going to say what it is because I think I will do it eventually. But I like a little pepperoni in tuna salad. But we forgot pepperoni regardless. So we didn't have it either way. So basically he's making the sandwiches to order for everybody. And then we're just cruising along. And you could really go from one side of the lake to the other in like 10 minutes flat. Like ridiculous. Even like drifting. It's like, okay, well, how are we going to stretch out 4 hours on this thing? So we come around one little side of the lake and people are jumping off a rock. And Rosie looks at me and she's like, well, it's my birthday. Should we do it? And I'm like, I will for your birthday. Yes, fine. So then, they can't have just the old ladies do it. So her son, Jack, says yes. And Ethan, my son, says yes. Crickets from the husbands and one nephew, Luke. So Rosie goes, we should put on life jackets. Now, I mean, it is a pond, basically, but I'm like, how deep is it? Like, all right. So we put on these life jackets, and the three of them jump off before me, and they're like, oh, it's so cold, it's so cold. Like, and hearing that, you're like, well, now I'm anxious to jump in. It's like, Liz, go. Liz, go. 1, 2, 3, let's go. So, so I finally jump in. And, like, when you jump in, you sink a bit. And the life jacket came up on me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this because it wasn't fitted to me. And then you're just trying to swim to the rock. You get to the rock and you just cannot wait to get up on the rock, like your piece of meat sizzling on it. You're like, I just need warmth.
Oh yeah, you want to warm up.
Oh my gosh! And then the life jacket actually makes you colder because it's just another extra heavy thing on you cold.
Yeah, keeping you wet. Yeah.
So then it's like, all right, let's jump. And we watched a couple people so we know where to jump to, and it's safe. It's fine. And you think it's high up, but the video that played back, literally, I don't even think it was 1 story high. I mean, it was so not significant. We're like, woo! So, and because way back when Rosie lived in Washington, the state, there's something called Snake River. One time Rosie jumped and I jumped off a cliff there. It was such a long drop. I distinctly remember no life jackets. We're in tank tops and jean shorts, I remember jumping off, and of course my husband's watching me as usual, what the hell is she doing? Screaming ah! And you stop.
You
it's
run
still
out
going
of breath?
Oh no. Ah! So, I mean, it was that long. This jump, you didn't even get out, and you were in the water. So whatever. So we jump in, and now the life jacket, because I've gone deeper, comes up and it's like choking me. And I'm like, oh my God, life jacket, you're going to freaking death jacket. It's going to kill me.
So the jump's not going to kill you. The life jacket's going to kill
100%.
you.
So I get out, swim around again, and now Ethan's like, let's jump off together, Mom. I'm like, this is so sentimental. Okay, let's do it. But I'm like, I'm swimming back to the boat after this. So that happened. And as we're swimming back to the boat, now our nephew is like, I think I'm going to come in. I'm like, on your own, dude. Like, you missed the window of
wrapping it
everybody
up.
doing it. Like,
Yeah.
that's so Luke to be like, now you're going to do it? Now, we didn't realize there were no steps back up onto the boat or no way to get back up on the boat.
no.
And it's definitely like high up. And I heard the best description. This is what it felt like. You felt like a seal trying to jump up, like get yourself up on the boat. And Mark's like trying to grab me in my armpits with the life jacket. So he's like, and I'm like, ah. So then I'm like, grab me on this way. So he pulls me up, gets me on the boat, and then you're just like flat on your belly. And it just felt like, I eventually went in my mind, like, just think you're like escaping a shark. So like, give it all you got, girl. Ooh, and then you get up on the boat and you're just lying there flat on your belly. And you know, your nephews they basically like just jumped on it. They needed no help.
Jeez.
And poor Rosie and I are like, that was so unglamorous getting back in the boat. Like that. Our
How was there
dignity
not
is
a
gone.
ladder somewhere? Like,
Because I don't think everyone's really jumping on and off these boats. They're rentals, like they barely are functioning. Hello, nothing works. Nothing works on the panel. There's no way to get in and out of the boat. Like it was ridiculous.
Good luck.
So that was Rosie's birthday. We had a lovely time on the pond lake.
It is not a pond. A pond is a max depth of 16 feet.
Okay.
So this has a max depth of 60 feet.
Ooh.
This is 1 mile across. So look, unfortunately, ponds are actually not officially distinguished from lakes. There's some in ecology. Apparently, they have certain terms. The other thing, this is 320 acres. And usually a pond is less than 12 acres.
No, I do not believe these numbers. All I can say did not feel big.
You are useless. But yes, as people who didn't grow up with ponds or lakes, I understand it's hard to distinguish. That is not a
I'm used to
pond.
Lake Tahoe, which I go to
very
with
big.
Lainey.
I
and
knew-
that, like,
I
you can't even
almost
see
said that
from one side.
earlier. That is, you cannot use that as a benchmark.
Lake Michigan.
I
Very
use
comparable.
Lake Gregory as a measure, and if I can walk into it and it's crunchy under my feet, then that's a pond.
Oh,
That's a pond.
that still will give me the heebie-jeebies. That still scares me.
Really, the main distinguishing feature is that the water is kind of pooling. It's not fed by a river or anything else. That's what
Oh,
a
a
pond is.
pond? Oh,
Yes.
is that the difference?
Yep.
Thank you, John, for the clarification. And I will just say, Lake Gregory did haunt me. And when we were at this, what I thought was a borderline pond, but I was now been corrected. When we tried to walk in, it's like slushy mud. It's not sand, right? So you're like, ugh.
Very
and you're hearing
squishy.
all this crunchy. And Eddie and I this is years ago, and we're walking, and I'm like, what is that crunchy? And Eddie like looks at it, and he's like, oh, I think we're stepping on snails. I mean, S-car, no, forget S-car, go. I was like, ooh, I think I crawled onto the top of your head, and you had to carry me out. I freaked out.
I have one idea for you. Would you be okay with escargot with pepperoncinis on it?
No.
All right. Well, I had to check.
no.
I had to check.
So that night we went out to dinner. We made reservations, and I made it at the new place. I was very excited about it because it was a restaurant that's open in Mammoth by two like Top Chef winners.
Oh, the show Top Chef?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Vitalgio brothers. I don't mispronounce their names, but it's the two brothers. It was like brother against brother, the battle. Of course, the younger one won. It's the older one had to have redemption. Like, I love them, even though I don't want to try to mispronounce their names. So they're Italian. So I'm like, this is going to be perfect. So we get there, we're dressed up, we got a table reservation. Because that's the problem. We're rolling like 7 deep. You can't just, like, in any vacation town, be like, do you have a table? So we get in there, and Rosie's like, oh, it smells so good. Let me look at the menu. Because she is gluten-free, there's like nothing on this menu.
Oh,
it's like pastas, pizzas. Yes, she could have a salad, but it is her birthday, so you kind of feel like, oh. So
Chicken infused with spaghetti. What?
no,
Dang
because
it.
and then she goes, well, let me ask, because a lot of times these places will have a gluten-free option. Nope, they're not doing that yet. And of course, Mark is watching like pepperoni pizza go by, and it's like
It's like,
drooling.
I need food now.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't think we're staying. He goes, what? I go, there's nothing for her to eat here. So I sent her husband right in the big courtyard village across the Mexican restaurant. And I said, go find out how long it will take to seat 7. And I guess it was like, 20 20 minutes. I go, all right, then that's what we got to do. I go, Rosie, it's your birthday. Let's stay here at this restaurant and go to their lovely bar and have a birthday drink first. And that all worked out fine. We go to the Mexican restaurant. It's like we're sitting outside first, which was like right by like a sand pit of kids. And one of them absolutely had a shitty diaper.
Oh, no.
So it's like, it is kind of cool out. So you're sitting outside. You're like, so an inside table is going to take a little longer. But actually, one of the guys was so awesome there. He's like, no, he got us in. We got inside. The food was delicious. The service was great. Had a great birthday night for her. So that was like, okay, a really fun birthday day. And the next day we planned to go mountain biking. And not electric bikes, mountain biking.
Ooh.
I don't know what the four of us older people were thinking.
But you could do it.
But the
You went on,
boys...
like a sports vacation without exercising beforehand or stretching, and then you get there and you're like, why are we doing so many sports activities?
like real activities. And because I love an electric bike, I'll go like 20 miles on an electric bike. Ooh, pedal assist, great. Nope. So these are mountain bikes. So we go to rent them, and it was also just getting the boys out the door as usual. It's like, and you have an allotted time. You have these bikes and everything set
Like
up,
a reservation or something, right?
right?
Yeah.
So you basically like, we got to get going here. So we go pick up the bikes. We're wearing helmets, of course, but we don't know where to go. We're like, okay, well, there's like tons of trails, and what are you just going up the mountain? How are we
You're
doing?
just going to make it up?
So this one guy comes out, and we're like, hey, hi. And we're all of us on our bikes. Where should we start? Here's a trail map. No, point us in the
Like,
direction.
which
Where
of these
are
trails?
So he goes,
What
you're gonna,
are we doing?
Yeah, you're going to get warmed up, and you're going to go on the downtown trail. And it basically starts at one of the main, lodge, and it takes you all the way down to the village. And at the village, you can get on a bus and put your bike on the back of the bus and take it back up. So we're like, that sounds like a great idea. And he's like, it's mostly downhill, so you'll warm up. I mean, almost immediately you get on the trail, and you're like, wow, I really forgot what mountain biking is. Yeah. I mean, you're just like, and you're like, my teeth are chattering, and I'm like, and I'm watching Rosie in front of us who broke her pelvis about a year ago. So I'm like, get your butt up off the seat,
Oh, geez.
so you're not absorbing every bounce. And this is like a real mountain biking trail. So it's like they purposely laid in logs to make it extra bouncy. Then there's moments where it's like a concrete sort of like ramp, and you're like, no. So you're trying to figure out the gears, do the brakes, and of course the boys are long gone. So you're like, oh my God. So it was challenging, and we got to a halfway point, and basically Jack, they were ahead of us. We heard the scream, Rosie and I instantly thought, oh my God, someone's hurt. Like, it's happened, someone's hurt, and it's literally our first run downtown. And I'm like, oh my God, someone's already hurt. This is totally ridiculous. So we pull up, and it's like the biggest overreaction for a broken chain you've ever seen. It was like, Jack, you broke your bike chain. Like, I for sure thought someone was injured. And
Broken leg, yes.
And I mean, honestly, the way it had positioned, Mark was behind a tree, and they were like, Jack was screaming, and people were like, what? And I thought, oh my God, Mark went off this cliff.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So
That's the first thing you thought?
Yes, because it was such a dramatic scream.
Liz, why was the first thing that, oops, Mark is dead?
Wishing. No,
No,
I mean,
or just gravely
we
injured.
need our chef for the trip. Are you kidding me? So I was
Hoping
like, oh my God.
and wishing.
No. So it ends up being a broken chain. So then Jack and his dad Kirk get on the bus to go down to the repair shop, and the rest of us take downtown trail to the village to catch up with them. And I'm telling you, like, it is like teeth chattering. You feel, I'm getting like my back is adjusting as we're going because
can't
you're just
even
getting
imagine.
shooken so much.
No.
So we get to the bottom, and like we all kind of look at each other as the older people are like, we might
Mistake.
be done. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? But they're like, no, we're going to get back up at the top and meet up Jack and Kirk at the top, and maybe we'll start doing the bike trails up there. So we take the bus, and we all are kind of seem shell-shocked on the bus, like, so take the bus, drop us back up at the main lodge, and we get on a chairlift. And it's pretty cool. I mean, they just load you in and then like,
What do they do with the bikes when you're on the chairlift?
they have these special racks that are by themselves. So the bikes are by themselves.
Oh, they're separate.
And you get behind them, right?
Okay.
And then they load them and unload them.
Yeah, do you do like a stop when you get to the top? They're not
It's-
like, jump off.
No, it's slow
Grab
enough.
that bike.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. But that's what's so awesome. I mean, that's why you pay your lift ticket, basically. There's guys up at the top unloading the bikes. So it's
Okay.
kind of user-friendly. And, they're guiding us to what trails to go on. I mean, everything's just downhill. So it is just like you are praying your brakes don't fail. And at one point, there's a zigzag course, and there's ropes to keep you on the course. And I'm like, Rosie, I'll be behind you to watch you to make sure you don't get hurt. Like, what the hell was I going to do?
What are you going to do? Yeah.
I don't know. So at one point, we're on the zigzag trail, and I kind of glance back up, and there's 4 guys at the top, and they're dressed in all black, and they look like the 4 men of the apocalypse, or like those riders in Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
I'm like, and it's really single file. Like, you cannot, there's not length, like there's not width to be someone to be beside you. And I'm following Rosie, and she's far enough ahead of me, and the boys are long gone. And I start feeling so much pressure come from behind these 4 guys, and they're like, from behind, on the left. I'm like, on the left. There's a rope here. Like, where am I going? They're like, on the left. I'm like, oh my God. So I just kind of fall into the rope to try to get out of the way.
Oh, no.
And I try to control my fall because you're going downhill, so I don't want to hurt myself. I'm like, and I kind of really dramatically lie down.
Wait, so you stopped and then laid down?
Yeah, but you're going downhill, so to stop, like you have momentum, like you can't completely stop, and then you put your feet down, like and you just kind of and then you're like, I'm really gonna hurt myself if I really try to stop. So then I just sort of like, you lie down, Liz, like just give into it. And the guys, these 4 men of the apocalypse, are zipping past me like, you okay? You okay? You okay? I'm like, fuck you. No, I'm not okay. Forget you. No, you're going to stop? No. And I'm like, Rosie, get out of the way. Save yourself. So I think she somehow got off to the side because they were just going 80 miles an hour down this hill. It's insane. So we get to the bottom of that one. I'm like, now I may be done. I might need a break after this. Oof. I mean, the bruising on all of our asses, we all survived.
Thank goodness. No one went off a cliff.
No.
Mark's not dead?
No one died.
Okay.
Mark did not go off a cliff. Going back, because we all separated again. Ethan, Mark, and I went to the very top of the mountains without our bikes to get a view. Then we decided we're going to ride our bikes down that trail downtown again. That was a mistake.
Oh, no.
Because the boys went ahead of me and lost me. And at some point, I'm like, my gears don't work. So at this midpoint, there's kind of a park ranger sitting there. And there was 2 teenage boys. And I'm like, can you help me? My gears are not working. He's like, well, I won't be able to help you. And the 2 teenage boys were experts. And they're like, oh, you probably broke the B joint. Did you fall off your bike? And I'm like, I did buy the insurance? Did I buy the insurance? Yes, I bought the insurance. So I can admit that fall. I fell trying to get away from these 4 men of the apocalypse breathing down my neck. So I'm like, yeah, I bet I broke the B joint. I'm sure there's an actual term for it. So the guy goes, don't worry. The rest is all downhill.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, but if you can't control your gears, you're trying to get, So I'm at one point, I'm so lost. I can feel my butt pack. My phone's ringing, which I'm sure is Mark. Where are you? I'm like, God, leave me alone. I'm coming. God, help! I'm up by myself. And 2 deers walk right in front of the path, and they literally stop and look at me like, "Shut up, lady! This is supposed to be peace and solitude." And I'm like, ah! And then I'm trying to slam on my brakes and not hit a deer because I'm like, if I hit a freaking deer,
oh, that would be damage. I mean, you would kill.
Will I be kicked out of Mammoth forever?
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So. Shockingly, we all did survive. We came through
a miracle.
it. We were so wiped out. I went in the very public jacuzzi at our condo.
Oh, you don't like a public jacuzzi.
Ow! But I took a couple coolers down there, seltzers, and got to know the natives. And of course, some kid in there, who's going to be a future Olympian, would not stop bragging about all of his accomplishments on his trip. And I am my ass. Right below the ass cheek, was so sore from this from the mountain biking. I got in the jacuzzi. I'm like, and all you can think is the next day it's going to be even worse, right?
Of course.
Oh, so the ride home was constantly adjusting ourselves. So no one got hurt. It was a fabulous end of summer trip. Whew. I really did think mountain biking, I'm done with. Mountain biking is too dangerous.
No, that's too much.
I really was I bruised my butt. And I was like, I'm lucky I didn't hurt anything else. So I'm like, no. Mark's like, I love it. I think I may take it up. I'm like,
What?
oh
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Okay, wait. So when did this trip actually end? And then when did school start?
Oh, school started like a week later. And
Oh, a
he
week.
is-
Okay.
Yeah, and he's a sophomore now in high school. So summer was actually great. He had a great summer. And that's, as a parent, that's all you want to hear at the end of summer. That your kid's like, had a great summer. And you're like, perfect.
Good job.
Great. And, Rosie and her boys, they took him off to college.
Didn't they do like a road trip? Drove them to
They
school?
did a road trip because they had to
Love it.
move them in. And so those boys got off well, which is crazy, but they're empty nesters. And Ethan started sophomore year. And I don't know what is going on, but like every day I get a phone call, like, you can come pick me up early. I'm like,
What?
why? Because there's some free period at 6th period. And it's, I want to call the school and sabotage him.
Like,
And be
no.
like, please out of class, please, because I'm sick and tired of him coming home and like, what's for lunch? What's for lunch? I packed you a lunch. I don't want that lunch. You're eating that lunch.
Oh,
so
man.
where Mark goes, well, there's a back to school night. I'm like, we are finding out what's going on. He's too young to have a free
fill
period.
something in. Put something in
Get
there.
a college course in there, right? So something's going to happen. He thinks it's awesome that this has worked out this
Oh,
way.
sure.
It's not going to work out this way. So school's back. He's doing well. Going to football games, establishing new friends because a lot of his friends left last year.
Oh, really?
For various reasons. So he's had like the whole lunchroom, like, where do I sit?
Oh, like when they went off to different schools or whatever?
Moved a lot of different reasons. So now he's
okay.
at a blend friend groups. So he's navigating all that teen scene. So it's working out well.
Okay.
We're doing okay. Start of the school year. Your kids back in school, how'd
Back
that go?
in school.
Have like end scene, rap list. Jesus. I'm exhausted. Katherine, go.
Okay, well, I do want to say we didn't do a whole lot this summer. I mean, we're very much like homeboundy people. My daughter Sarah did an amazing, she did a trip to Japan all by herself, which was
Very
just,
cool.
like shocking and fantastic. So good for her. She had a great time. It was not perfect, but she did it. And I mean, she was so cute. She wanted to go to Tokyo Disney, and that was like really challenging. She went by herself, and
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, no, she did an amazing
Ed,
job.
have you ever been to Tokyo Disney? 'Cause
Nope.
You went to the one in Paris.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
So
And the
I'm-
one in Florida.
Oh, in the
Well, I've been one in Florida too. I mean, it's the European ones that are
It's the
impressive.
fancy
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
So she did that. So that was one of her big summer things, and it was really cool on your iPhone to just do Find My Phone, and I could see her like her little dot in Japan. It was
Oh.
amazing. It was really amazing.
I find the phone on Ethan, but he doesn't know I do.
What? Oh.
Teenagers.
So, yeah, it was. I mean, that was kind of the biggest thing that happened this summer. And then for Adam, he started going to this social group. It's a bunch of, I'd say between 5 and 8 young men with autism.
Right, because
And
those of you who don't know,
Adam has autism, and he's got a lot of communication issues, and very.
is he 21?
He's 20.
20.
So
Okay.
the young men in this group, it's age range, I think 18 to about 25.
Okay.
And they had a bowling activity that they went and did, which was, I asked him afterwards, and he was very cute about it.
Wasn't it a birthday party?
It was. It turned out it was one of the guys was having a birthday party. So it was really cool. I took him to the bowling alley. I was like, I don't know if he likes bowling. I'm like, Adam, you want to go bowling? Yes.
It's basically heavy lifting.
So,
he
yeah.
should be into it.
Yeah, and he does like going to the gym
Yeah.
with Eric. Heavy weights.
Heavy weights.
Okay, great. So they bowled and they had cake, which of course Adam is like, cake? Fantastic. Great. So that was another little fun summary thing that Adam has joined this. They meet once a week, and it's a nice little group for him to be a part of. And then the one other summary thing, because Adam loves the beach, and I'm a very bad mom. I had not taken him to the beach, like at all.
We're all very fair, so
Yeah.
it takes a bit of effort to go to the beach.
Yeah. Well, and also it's just surprisingly difficult to like muster the energy and get organized and whatever. But Ginny, our sister Ginny, was camping at the beach. She was camping at Leo Korea. They have an RV and they like to go and do camping trips. And I think she texted me and was like, "Oh, we're going to be at Leo Korea. Would you like to, come and visit?" And I'm like, Sarah would not, but Adam definitely will. And so I said, "Oh, Adam, Aunt Ginny is camping at the beach. Do you want to go visit? Yes. I'm like, okay. So we went and visited. It was very cute. We just drove down, met them, in the afternoon, and then we walked down to the beach from the campsite.
Perfect.
It was fantastic. Adam was, very happy to just look at the beach because we didn't go in the water. It was kind of, evening-ish. And then we stayed and had dinner and we made s'mores.
Oh, great.
He was very nervous about the fire, which he's previously, when we've done family camping trips, really liked the fire. But this was like, that is fire. And I'm going to sit on the other side of this.
Was it like a bonfire?
Table.
A bonfire?
No, it was just, they had like a fire pit or, whatever. So he was just, I would say like appropriately nervous about it. He was not just like, yeah, let me just get my marshmallow in there. He was like, no, this is very hot and smoky. I'll stand over here. So, but he did really like it. And now he is back to school. He goes to, it's sort of a high school, but it's called a CTC. It's what does it stand for? It's like Career Transition Center, I believe. I think that is right. And
I loved you looked at John like, does John know?
Does
John's
John
like,
know?
No.
Look it up.
But he can check it. Yeah.
So it's a Career and Transition Center, unless I get corrected, and that's not what it is.
That is what the T is for. Apparently, it's a career preparatory and transition center.
Oh, okay. I've never heard the preparatory part. All right.
It sounds more prestigious.
Yeah. So he is 20 and he's been there he was there all last year and then this year and half of the year before that, I think. I don't know. I don't remember exactly when we transferred there because he was in a typical high school and then we transferred him out because he was kind of not getting enough out of it. And this has a different focus. It's really more like life skills and job skills and things
That's
that are
smart,
more appropriate for him and more
he's not
engaging
turning
for
in
him.
like an English final paper.
Correct. He's not taking a geography class that he doesn't care about.
Right.
You know, he's like, that's not really where his head is at. So last year he worked in the kitchen and was like mixing ingredients for cookies. And at night we'd write in his journal and I would say, okay, what did you do at school today? And he would say, mixed ingredients. And for
So
what?
intense.
Cookies. I'm like, okay, great. Write that down. So he worked in the kitchen and then he worked they have a little bistro. And he would work at the register.
Wait, who goes to eat there? Like, could we go to eat there?
No, I think it's like a campus-only thing.
I was like, dang.
So the teachers will come in and buy muffins that they bake in this kitchen
okay.
and coffee cake. I know they sell coffee cake, and I think they sell coffee. They don't make like coffee drinks, but I think they like.
There's not a barista?
No, but it's very cute because he would do the register, and if you ask him, what do you say? And he says, hello, how can I help you? Or maybe it's, hello, what do you need? Or something like that. But it's
Wow.
So it's good training for him to sort of like, expand his idea of what he can do in the world, which is great. And this year he's working they have a little store. So, and I don't know what they sell.
This sounds so involved.
Well, there's what they
options to learn.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
And they've created different tracks so you can learn different skills and whatever. I know they have a car wash like module.
What?
Yeah. And people were like,
Can I drive my car through it?
Yeah, I think you can. No, not drive through, but like I think it's a team of like 5 or 6. I think they're all guys, and they're learning to detail cars. And somebody was like, "Oh, Adam might like that," and I'm like, "You don't know Adam very well because he does not like to be dirty or wet." So this
Not his
is
jam.
probably, although he is extremely neat and detail oriented, so he probably would have done a very good job.
Do they have a dry cleaning class?
Ooh. But now working in this little store, they also go out and work in stores in the community.
Oh, cool.
So he's worked at school only came back like maybe 3 weeks ago, I want to say. I don't know. I've already lost track. But he's worked at 2 different stores, and his aide, because he has a full-time aide that's with him, because he really needs someone to help him be safe in the community and communicate and all that. He sent us pictures of Adam stocking shelves, and let me just tell you that these cans are the neatest cans you've ever seen, with all the labels turned out.
Perfectly aligned.
I mean, so
Does he get paid a little paycheck for this?
Yeah, he does. He does.
Oh, that's
he
so
gets a little
cool.
paycheck. So probably he'll work like between 4 and 8 hours a week at these various places. And
Nice.
Yeah. And now Sarah is also back to school, and she's doing, I think, 3 classes.
What year is she in college now?
This is going to be her senior year, so she's wrapping it up.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay.
As a graphic design major, she's doing 3 classes that are kind of design heavy. Yeah, she has a pretty heavy class load in terms of design, but
That's
it's kind of
amazing.
hybrid, like 2 days on campus and 2 days on Zoom, and then so.
Good
Anyway,
for her.
But yeah, she's back in the swing of it, and then I think she'll wrap up this year. So we'll see. I know. I know, it all is so
My
speedy.
goddaughter, I'm so impressed.
I know, she's pretty amazing.
That's incredible. All right.
Yeah. Okay,
Not to
so-
pour salt in a very, very old wound, Liz, but speaking of goddaughters,
Yes.
Mom went to lunch with your godmother this
We
week.
can't even get into that. Ed, you just triggered me. You just come. You can't.
Well, on a different track with our mother, if you take her on a driving trip, it will be much less athletic, and that is what I did.
Oh
And
God, that's right. You just drove her up north for John Paul's Eagle Scout.
Our
thing.
nephew, yeah.
correct.
Oh wow.
Look, we didn't plan ahead, but we planned for there to be time to do it in a way that would work for her.
Oh, okay.
So
Whoosh.
it worked out fine. I took her on some walks, mostly
like during
very
the drive.
short.
You mean you stopped and walked during the drive? Is that
Yeah,
what you're-
so of a 6-hour maybe drive, we planned to stop twice, and some of them were better than others. They were all fine.
that was a good idea, though.
Well, whatever. I mean, you had to do something. She got what she wanted out of it, I think.
Did you have snacks?
Yes, because because it was like you're planning to do this stop, which is for a physical reason, not for snacks and lunch. So there was going to be no food stops. So we brought tons, and of course she, who would have thought she would have, interesting and intense plans for these snacks. So she's bringing food for me, which of course I didn't ask for, and then.
What were these intense snacks? Like hard-boiled eggs in the car?
No, it wasn't that
God.
crazy.
Roll
It
up the
was-
windows.
surprised.
Yeah.
It was more like she brought this food and then she was like, wait a minute, but do I have enough for myself? And then also, do I have enough for the way back? I was like, you have like more than
The
half.
way back.
Yeah, well, it was only going to be 2 days later. It's the same snacks.
Oh gosh.
yeah, Vaz.
yeah.
But it was like, there
5
was.
cutie oranges. I don't know if it's enough.
I know. She brought like 5 of this one thing. It was like, you had 1 going up. You obviously have enough.
You have enough.
What if you get lost? She needed, rations.
But one of our stops, which ended up being not much walking, but whatever, she got to go to the bathroom and it was in a store, and then she bought some stuff. So there you go.
Oh, okay, great.
God, she survived. Okay.
Yeah, apparently those 10 for $1 avocados that you see. Yeah, no, sorry. I think each avocado is $1. Something like that. They are, the size of an egg. They are the tiniest avocados you've ever seen.
Whoa.
Where was this? Like on the
eating
drive?
was she eating the avocado in the car?
No, just
Oh,
take
I
it
was-
easy. She bought it, but because this was the thing. On the way that we went, you went by all these farm stands.
Oh, I like a
she
farm
wanted- yeah,
stand stop. I don't begrudge her.
Yeah, although I think it actually was before. No, we'd seen some of them, but then the place that we were at, you didn't think had a lot of food, but then she of course found it. So
Oh wow. Okay, but otherwise a successful quick trip up north. Is that
yes.
okay?
Nice.
All
Okay.
right. Whew. All right. Is that the end of summer? Okay. Oh yeah.
And the Romans dogs and the Fox dogs do like each other, and they can go on walks together, and they can have sleepovers together.
Yeah,
oh
you
right,
watched
because you were combo dog sitting.
Yeah, I mean, separate from the time I was house sitting at the Dooleys because they were on the RV trip, at the beach. But yes, the time when everybody was in Mammoth, it was a real situation.
You're watching all the dogs.
All 3?
Yeah.
All 3 sets of dogs. That's craziness.
Well,
I
my
think-
dog went for sleepovers at my sister's house.
Yeah, I think I'd done it where I kept them separate, but then this time I was like, well, I don't know. I guess we could try bringing
She
her
didn't.
over.
Yeah, she didn't come back pregnant.
You're
Thank goodness.
That,
She's
how dare you
fixed.
even
Woof.
bring that up?
I mean, well, I'm not going to bring up Easter. Well, I will bring up Easter. We're in a big prayer circle doing our prayers for Easter, and my beautiful little Luna just kind of walks out in the middle to take up the energy. And one of my sister's dogs came in the middle and started to violate her in the middle of the prayers. So it happened. And we're like, come on, we're doing our Easter prayers. Get away from each other. And then Luna's like, help me. And just,
I mean, that did happen the first time we walked in the door, but then maybe they understood that I didn't like that, and then it probably never ever happened again.
Certainly.
That you're
'cause you
aware
were-
of.
I always, even when I was asleep, obviously knew what was going on.
Of course. Oh my God.
Well, yes,
Woo.
I think that is the end of summer.
Start
Into
of school. Yeah, here we go.
There we go. So, well,
All right. Well, there we go. Okay. So thank you for listening
And
/
watching.
Family Dynamics. And I guess you can follow us everywhere you want to follow us, which is Instagram, Facebook, TikTok,
Twitter.
YouTube,
Or X, I
Twitter.
X.
We are everywhere. We're everywhere.
at Family Dynamics with a K.
With a K for the Killmonds, our last name. And of course, our YouTube channel, which is Knack Entertainment, which is where all of our video podcasts will live. Okay.
Great.
All right. So thank you for listening to, should we all say it together?
Yeah, thank you for
I know.
watching. Well, how it is. Thank you for watching
Family
Family
Dynamics.
Dynamics.